recognize racism at that school. Once we got up there, I never recognized it because I don't know if I was blind just by the way the system was working.
Good morning. Episode 10, Our Living City. Gosh, if only it were a nice day this morning. If only the sky were blue and the sun were shining. If I hold the camera like this, you might see the bus before I do. I'm going down to the rescue mission to see Harlow Crandall this morning, who I'll be writing with, and some mystery person also that I'll get to meet today and hear their story, I hope. And I think today is our last official episode. The mission's life recovery program has run out of people in their program who want to participate. I can't blame them. If I were working on getting my life back together, I wouldn't want to see this face or have to write a song with it. But I think my plan, we'll see if this pans out, is to spend episode 11 handing out the rest of the guitars. So this one I hope to give away today, but some people, if you've seen any of these other episodes, you've noticed that not in every episode did we give away a guitar because not everybody played guitar or wanted one. And I bought extra because it was impossible to tell in the sources I was getting them online for cheap, mostly online, if they were going to be any good. So some of them are better than others, and I chose to bring the best of them to give away. But I've got some lower quality ones that somebody still may want. So that's the episode 11 plan, end of this month. This is currently March 22 today, Saturday. So yeah, here comes the bus. I'll turn this off and you'll see me again when I'm downtown.
Oh man, it's just so much. So y'all know how I got to this point where I am now and here. At some point, I should have been writing memoirs. So I could just write an autobiography about my life.
Yeah.
I got a story to tell. I've seen a lot of things.
I mean, it's good. It's a good story. I mean, like what especially what you've got to say about Nashville, and just excellent.
And man, there's so much I can go back to. I remember like we had the summer camp we used to go to. In the summertime, they have all the sinners from all around Nashville, community sinners. They get together. They go to TSU campus, and we had a swimming pool. So that's all the places that the black people were able to swim. And in Watkins Park, when we did our first concert, the talent show, they had one little bitty swimming pool. It was just like 5 feet. And then South Nashville had one called Howard School. Howard School had a swimming pool, but it was for the white people. Yeah. And then after it got torn up, and pretty much they had used all of what they could use, then they opened it up for the black people. And then South Nashville used to go there, and then later on they built swimming pools for all the sinners, that would accommodate a swimming pool. But it wasn't like we had a pool we could go anywhere swimming, so we had to go to TSU, go away to summer camp to go swimming. Because Centennial Park swimming pool, you ever heard the story about it?
No.
Back in the 60s, during that time before Martin Luther King got killed, they had a public pool in Centennial, and it was all for white people. And when the black people used to just go out there, just look through the fence and watch them swimming. They weren't allowed in. That's when they still had colored fountains, white fountains, and all that. And so they protested. And once they protested, and somehow that I forgot the whole story, I just got a little glimpse of it. I just found out really about this like 5 years ago. I didn't dig deep enough to get all the details, but basically what they done, when the black people protested, they allowed I think they let the white people swim for a while, then they let the black people come in. The white people picking and saying, if them black people get in that water, we're not going to get back in that water. So what they did, They got enough votes to where they could open it up for the blacks. So they lobbied to have it closed down. So what they did, they closed it down instead of letting the black boys have an equal swimming rights with the white people. So they closed it down, covered up with dirt, and you never know the swimming pool was ever there.
All right, good morning. I'm here with Harlow, and we're down at the Ye Olde Rescue Mission. And we got to talking, and I realized I should probably roll tape because, otherwise you're not going to know what we talked about. So you were saying you're just waking up. I'm also just sort of waking up.
Yeah, and asking about when you actually got the idea to do this project.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's so funny. Like I don't think about this as a thing that I need to share the background of, but it is. So yeah, it was like 4 years ago, or even 5. I was already volunteering down here singing. At the time it was Tuesdays, it then moved to Thursdays. It's now Thursdays. Every Thursday evening to the general population, which I know is not the right term to use. That's a prison term, but that's kind of what it feels like sometimes on Thursdays in the chapel service, because it's these guys straight off the street.
Yeah,
they're a lot of them are not in a great mood, having some struggles that I've also experienced with things like alcohol and drugs. And I'm pleased to say I'm 9 years sober. Some of them are sometimes less than 9 hours sober if they are, but some of them do get clean, which is it's a miracle. So, but the room in the inn, I'm just going to turn around this way so I can say it's that way, is another great spot. And Donna Frost, who was here for the last episode of this a couple weeks ago, she goes down there a lot. But I approached both Mission and Room in the Inn. This used to be the Sears building.
Oh, interesting.
Years ago. So many people actually bought their first guitars in this building.
That's funny.
Which is kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Like that might be, I don't know, probably not Johnny Cash because he moved here from somewhere else, but someone who was born and raised here, that might be their first.
Yeah.
But it was funny to re-engage these guys and be like, hey, I'm finally doing that project. Because there were email chains, there were phone calls.
Yeah.
All right. Hi. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Carl. Great. I'm James. This is Harlow.
Nice to meet you. Carl?
Harlow. Harlow. So happy Saturday. So what we're doing, maybe he told you a little bit about it.
Somewhat, not a lot.
Okay. That's about as much as I know, is somewhat, not a lot. So we're songwriters. You can probably tell just by looking at us. And I lived in New York City for 6 years. I've lived here now for 6 years in Nashville. And I have this kind of, I was just talking with my 12-step sponsor this morning about this exact thing. I've got this kind of dislike and distrust for people who have money, people who are lauded by society, and I've got this kind of desire to meet all of the other people that society's not shoving down my throat. I want to meet the people who haven't been given a loud voice by society. So I want to hear the stories that I wouldn't otherwise hear if I didn't maybe figure out some way to come meet you or meet someone else that maybe is either down here or, down at the Room in the Inn or something. So I want to know anything you want to tell me about you, about life. And if you're open to the idea, I'd love for us to put some of it in a song, and it'll be basically your song, like you helped us write it. And then my goal is I'd like to make an album of these songs. This is number 10. So that's enough for an album, 10 songs. And then if we can sell it somewhere, then you get a couple of royalties. I don't know if it'll be more than a couple dollars, but even a couple of dollars buys you a sandwich, So that's my spiel, that's why we're here. And so I'd love to know sort of, whatever you think is relevant to share about where you came from, who you are inside, how that's changed over the years, what your biggest challenges are, what your hopes are, what your goals are. Any of that or anything else that you want to share?
Okay, well, basically, where do I start? I'm going to start pretty much from the beginning. Well, I'm from here, grew up here in Nashville, and we was raised in the church. And my mother, my grandmother, all my grandparents and my aunts, they all went to different churches around Nashville. And we had one home church. It was called Harlow Baptist Church. And we had a family choir that we used to sing. And I started out, I think I was about 5.5, 6 years old. And I had two brothers under me. One was 4, one was 3. And we all had a family. She had 8 kids, by the way. And we all 8 of us was in the choir. So we sung every Sunday. And we went to Bible study. We did everything that people that's involved, that want Jesus in their life. You know what I'm saying? We were, I don't know if we call them Christians. I guess they used to call them Christians. But we sung in church every Sunday. And we go from church to church. It's one of our aunt's churches. They would invite us to come and we go and sing. And we got rave reviews as a group, a family choir. And eventually, the Jackson 5 came out. And it was early in the 60s. You know? And my mom, we always played rock music. To go back, I have a cousin, Stanley Turntime. You ever heard of him? He's a jazz saxophonist. And he was nominated for a Grammy. So our whole family was musically inclined. Well, not inclined, but we was just around music. You know what I'm saying? And my aunts, all of them was church. My grandmother, she was the choir director. So she was our director of the choir. She the one got us started. And when the Jackson 5 came out, my mom used to sponsor talent shows around the communities. And we had a center called Watkins Park Community Center. And so she would hold talent shows. And we got one of our friends, she was one of the members of, they imitated the Supremes, and she was a choreographer for us.
Oh, wow.
And she taught us our steps. But when we first seen her on that song, we left her alone and started doing our own choreography, according to what we saw. And we started going around from city to city doing talent shows. We were good. We won pretty much all of them. And later, my mom met my stepdad, because her and my real dad, they separated. You know, somewhere along the way, things didn't go right when my family separated.
Sure.
So they separated, and my mom met my stepdad, and he was like, I think my mom was 20, she was 31, and he was younger than me, he was like 7 years younger than her. And he just joined the Navy, Marines. And we loved him like a dad, and he just came in and just took the family under his wing and taught us all everything that we needed to know about life. And he got orders to Vietnam. So they hadn't got married at that time. So he went to Vietnam, and they didn't tell us, but he came back on leave one weekend, and they went off and got married. We didn't know that. We all pretty much knew it was about to come, but we didn't know for sure that they had gotten married. So when they got married, he came, when he dropped her off, and we all had dinner, we all went out. I think we went to Beach Bend Park. You ever heard of Beach Bend? It's an amusement park in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Okay.
And after that weekend, he left us Sunday, and he went to Quantico. We got orders to Quantico. That's where he was based at. So when he came back, we thought he was coming home to stay, but he came to tell us that they were married. And she told him at the same time, she said, we're married now. This is your dad now. So he said, we got some more good news, but we thought he was like coming and we were going to have a good fun summer. And then they told us we were moving to Quantico.
I wanted to ask you if you've ever experienced, what your experience has been with the homelessness type of thing. Have you ever had to struggle for a meal? Has your family ever experienced that? We were poor growing up, but we were never homeless.
In terms of, I've been lucky personally. There's only, there was like one time that it wasn't due to like the fault of myself or my wife, but in Rochester there was a lot of like kind of shady stuff, housing, things like that. And I had a landlord who the bank foreclosed on their property, and then we like lost our place.
Yeah.
Like it was like we got home one day and there's the foreclosure notice, and we got evicted. Like they came in, they changed the locks and everything, and fortunately we were able to stay with her mom until we got a new place. But those things do happen. It can happen overnight to you, even if you. And the thing was, we didn't have enough money to like just go out and get another apartment.
Yeah.
So it was that kind of situation. But in terms of like what actually shaped my political attitudes towards it, I worked in public libraries for years, and I'm originally from Rochester, New York, and are you familiar?
I've been there a couple of times. I got a good friend there.
Okay, very cool. So you have a sense of Rust Belt City, and it's a place that got hit pretty hard, between the demise of Kodak, Bausch and Lomb, and then the 2008 recession.
Yeah.
But I worked in public libraries, and I worked in at the Maplewood Community Library, which was an amazing place, but there's a lot of people there that, I provided a lot of help with job applications, things like that, people who were, had assistance or things like that, and often quite a few individuals that were, unhoused and, various drug issues, mental illness issues, things like that, and I kind of, just did what I could to provide, as much help and in some cases, as much comfort as possible, because certain individuals, you couldn't do much more besides trying to make their day a little bit better.
Isn't that wild? We're all at risk, and we're all struggling with something. And it's just a question of, okay, like, what solution gets me to my next step up?
Yeah.
And there's no one size fits all.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think that's one of the things that's politically, I think, a problem, because there's kind of this very prescriptive kind of direction that our society's taken, and the reality is that things don't fit into these narratives and into like these one-size-fit-all. So it's narratives of like, how do you fix? I also hate that idea of like fixing somebody's life. That's like also kind of an atrocious like.
That's a great point.
Because it's the assumption that you have it figured out. And,
How do you solve a problem like Maria? Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. I was listening to this podcast, this Tim Ferriss show that I like a lot, and I'm trying to remember who it was he had on there. I can't remember. It might have been the CEO of Netflix, or at least the guy who started Netflix. But if it wasn't that, it was some similar company, and they said instead of doing what most modern companies are doing, which is creating scripts and hiring dummies to read the script perfectly, they hire people who they like their ideas, and they give them free roam to deal with problems and or customers in any way they see fit, because those people are trained in the culture of the company, and he wants to actually let them use their brain and their heart to navigate. And I thought, what a novel idea. Like, what if we did that with politicians? If we didn't expect them to say the perfect party lines, but we said, okay, this guy seems really like he's got a heart and a brain. Let's like go with it.
That's disqualifying right there.
Yeah,
2 strikes.
Get him out of there. Perfect.
I'm just jumping all over the place, man. This is crazy. I'm trying to keep it in order.
I love it. I've already, just to share with you what my brain is doing as I'm listening to you, I'm relating, but I'm also listening, and I'm sort of thinking at the same time, what do I think the world might need to hear about this? And just to share with you where I'm at it, my first thought so far, this could change, we can write about anything you want to write about, but I love what you said about that young age where you're watching this movie in Hollywood, white Hollywood, had framed as they did with every John Wayne movie and probably every movie, they'd framed the cowboys as the good guys, because storytelling is such a tricky thing. You can make for tell it from this point of view. So like they made it so the viewer of any race, unless they know better, is motivated to be like, I'm rooting for that person,
Right.
even if that person's actually doing terrible things. I love what you said about you started asking questions.
Yeah.
I've got an idea for a song. We can keep talking, and there may be a better idea, but I think it might be asking questions might be a great idea for a song title, and the hook could be something like, "Hey, I'm not telling you anything about you. I'm just asking questions."
Right. Right. And good. And as I started asking questions, I started learning more about our history. Then we went back to Africa. Then we went back to Egypt. And my granny told us, and she always had my aunt. She was a real radical. I mean, when you call, well, this generation or the upper class, they were part of the radical, but she was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And when we found out about the history of Moses, and in that region of the world, they couldn't have been right. You know what I'm saying? Moses, man, I learned so much about that. When she told me she had a picture of Moses as a black man, and what he would look like. And she said, this is not just Moses, this is your heritage. And it ties in also with that. You feel me? Like everything that I saw from the little time that I did the music, it's not what I really saw, so I asked questions about it. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as my manager, wasn't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So we started asking questions about that.
Yeah.
It could pretty much tie into that what you were saying.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's great.
And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I know you're a writer and you're a musician, so you put those two together. I'll never forget that. At the same time, my dad was telling a story about Vietnam, how they were prejudiced and they were segregated. And he told us a lot of stories about that. They go to the mess hall and they have to sit. There was a black regiment. You know how it was. You've seen the movies. And the whites was over here. And then, not only that, they had something like if they captured a captain, any officer, or Viet Cong, they had more privileges than the black soldiers. It was crazy. Man, he told us all that. And then my grandmother, she used to tell us stories, a lot of stories about slavery. And I got a picture of my great-grandmother and my great-aunt. And they told us a lot of stories. And we used to watch Western at the time. And we'd be like, kill him, cheering for the cowboys. Yeah. And once we was at our grandmother's house, we was watching I think it was John Wayne, The Searchers. That's what we were watching. And I mean, when they came over there and they were shooting, and it was the Civil War. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't understand the Civil War and none of that. Yeah. And then there was something about the Indians, and they had captured the Indian girl. You ever seen the movie Searchers?
I didn't see it.
It's a good movie.
I'm familiar with John Wayne a little bit.
But anyway, they captured, they was looking for this Indian girl, and they wanted to kill her because for some reason she was her. They was a mix. She was part Indian and part white, and he wanted to find her because he wanted to kill her because she was part Indian and that was his sister, and they were searching for her. And at one point they had the cowboys had grabbed the Indians. They were shooting all over and said, Grandma, don't you just love it when the cavalry comes in and kills him? She said, no, I don't love it. And then she told us a story. She said, do you know what they did? She said, the white man came and took the Indians' land, then sent them on the reservation. She told us the whole story. At that point, that's when I really found out what life was really about. And that's when I got really inquisitive and I started asking questions. And she said they did the same thing that that they did to the Africans. She said she told us the whole 9 yards
Yep.
in between those times.
Do you want me to do like the 2 times on the verse chords and then you come in?
Sure, something like that.
So we can get that kind of.
Yeah. Black Moses, blue Jesus, didn't learn these things at school. Lunch counter, not equal, they closed the swimming pool. Chorus. I am not calling anybody wrong. There is no violence I'm threatening. I am not throwing sticks or stones. No, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, let's double that.
Sure.
Okay. And then I stop on that. I'm like what you asked me to do because he listened to directions.
We're musicians, we don't do directions really well.
That sounds good.
There's cowboys, there's Indians, I'm somewhere in between. Now which side am I rooting for upon that silver screen? Chorus! I am not calling anybody wrong. There is no violence I'm threatening, even if there should be. I am not throwing sticks or stones. No, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. Thinking on the right track, everything I've ever learned. Precision in the through lines as the calendar pages turn. I'm gonna do that one more time. Thinking on the right track, everything I've ever learned. Precision in the through lines as the calendar pages turn. I am not calling anybody wrong. That was a drum solo. There is no violence I'm threatening, even if there should be probably a lot of things. I am not throwing sticks or stones. No, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. Asking questions. I love
That's good.
the finger work you're doing. It's lovely.
No, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason it reminds me of Jeff Tweedy, even though I don't think it has anything to do with him. Very cool. What do you think?
I think I like it.
Asking questions.
This, man, that's good. I gotta get a copy of that.
Yes, yeah. I'll send you, what I'll do is I'll type this up, I'll put it in the description of the video, and I'll send you a link to the video if mark my words, before I fall asleep tonight. Start of another one. One door closes, another door opens. Other than that, it's a pretty good car.
I was so depressed for a long time, and I was smoking weed every single day, sun up to sundown, and it wouldn't cure my depression. And I even got more because when her friends would come, they loved me to death, but I just didn't feel comfortable.